Willkommen zum zweiten Video mit Corsair. Mäuse und Tastaturen haben wir uns eben schon angeschaut. Und jetzt geht es natürlich noch zu den Gehäusen, denn das ist ja auch ein besonders starkes Segment von Corsair. Da gibt es zwei Neuheiten und die lassen wir uns mal vorführen. So of course Corsair also have new cases. This is George from Corsair and he wants to introduce us to the newest stuff you have.
Yeah, how's it going?
And I see something very cool over there.
Literally, very cool.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, the Carbide Air 540 is kind of our newest case that we're working on right now and we're just about to launch. It's the Carbide Air 540 that we have decided to make it the world's best air cooling case. So we went through about a year and came up with a couple of ideas. And the basic premise was to get rid of the airflow path obstruction. So hard drive cages or optical drive cages or power supplies that are normally in the way, we took them out of this chamber. So we have two airflow 140L millimeter intake fans, so 140 millimeter here, rear 140 millimeter exhaust fan that comes with the case, and then 8 slots. So you can put up a 4-way SLI or crossfire. You blow right across these components, you get the coldest air to the hottest parts as fast as possible, and then when that air gets hot, you get rid of it as fast as possible. There's also two 3.5 inch drives, cages down here. These are hot swap, and these actually also work with 2.5 inch SSDs if you want as well. These are all the components that need active cooling. You can put a 140 or 110 millimeter radiator up top, or I'm sorry, H100, H110, it's a 240 or 280 millimeter radiator. You can put a 360 in the front if you'd like. And then if you want to change the dust filter, it's very easy. You just take these parts off, and this is magnetic and it comes right off.
Perfect.
So very easy to change the dust filter, and you just put it back together very easily. On the rear chamber, I'll show you right here. This is where your power supply lives, your SSD cage with 4 SSD drives, 2 optical drive cages, and then a ton of cable routing room, so you don't even really have to try to make it nice and neat. You can just wad it up and stick it back there and put the side panel on.
Very good idea.
And the idea back here is that this is all the stuff that doesn't need active cooling. This stuff can be passively cooled. Most SSDs don't get very hot. Power supply has its own fan, it can cool itself. Optical drives or other 5.25 inch Bray devices don't need cooling, so let's get them out of the way. So this is very similar to some of the things we've seen in the server industry, some of the things you've seen on test benches if you just flip them sideways. And it's, you know, obviously USB 3.0 in the front, things like that. We're very excited about this because we've been able to test it a bunch of times with all different kinds of components, and it's the best air cooling case we've ever tested. And actually its flexibility for liquid cooling is pretty decent as well. So it's, aside from its width, it's a very compact case, front to back and top to bottom. So it's almost a cube. It's a very good high performance case, and it'll be available for about $139 US dollars, and it'll be available in July.
Yeah, definitely a cool thing. Do you remember the days when there were those Yeon cases, the big cubes?
Yeah.
There were many in our forums which were modded and added radiators and so on. I think there will be many rigs like that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of comments from people already that are saying things like, oh, it's like this giant, you know, this company's big cube or that company's big cube. And our design was, well, you know, there are some cases that are true double wide cases where you have like a second whole chamber, you can put fans and everything. We didn't want to do that necessarily. We didn't want to make this giant aluminum cube because I don't feel that that's something that's new. There's a bunch of people who've done that. What we wanted to do is take the benefits of that design, shrink it down to kind of a mainstream appeal, and say, let's take the guy who wants to buy, you know, a really high performance mid tower and give him a cube option. Anybody can, you know, put, you know, 6 sides of aluminum together and make a big aluminum cube and sell that. I think that this has a nice kind of balance of price to performance ratio, and it's a more mainstream product. If people really like this and say, God, you know what I want is a full tower version, maybe we'll work on that in the future. Or a mini ATX version or micro ATX, but right now this is the more mainstream version. We'll see what people say.
Looking very cool. Yeah.
It also has, before I forget, it also has a full side panel window that sits on the side here, so that when you've got all your nice expensive parts installed, you can still see them.
Very cool.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the other case that we have?
Of course.
All right, let's go see the 330R. So this is a new silent case that we just released, the Carbide Series 330R. It's designed to be a quiet version of our the 300R, which is kind of an award-winning high airflow case, a gaming case. It costs about $79 US. This version costs about $10 more, $89 US, because we added the sound dampening materials in this front door. So we have a front door. It's very similar to the 550D door, except that on the 550D, which is a solid slab of aluminum, for cost reasons, this is actually a plastic door that's textured like aluminum, has a steel piece, and then the high density foam behind it. This is still reversible, so you can still open it from either side. Behind that door, you have your very low restriction dust filter, which is easily removed, and a 140mm fan. Room for a second 140mm on the bottom half. Inside the case is almost identical to the 300R with your 4 hard drive cages, a direct airflow path to your graphics card, CPU, tool-free everything, room for big power supplies, room for extended ATX or long video cards, good cable routing, kind of Corsair traditional ease of use stuff. And then on this one, the only difference inside that's different between this and the 300R is we made this a little bit taller so you could fit H100s or H110s up top. So if you take the top panel off with the sound damping, now you have room for an H100 or H110 radiator cooler. So if a customer who has a silent case decides one day he wants to have the world's best liquid cooler, he can buy it from us and then take this panel off very easily. And this is $89 US and should be available in July as well.
Yeah, pretty nice. Cool new stuff, definitely. So I told you my editor is already keen on reviewing the new products. He already sent me an email to say go to Corsair, take a look at the cases. So I think people will like it.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think you guys, when you put these on the test bench, you'll be very impressed with the numbers.
Yeah, of course, we do that.
Okay.
Thanks for the introduction.
No problem. Thank you.